Beyond the pulpit, the message is true. The pastor is human, like me and you. A story to tell, a story to live. Grace in the struggle, and love to give.
Good afternoon. I am Bishop Trev Alexander. I am the senior pastor of True Vine Church, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here today with Bishop Bryant, who is a class of 2023 inducted to the Black Worship Hall of Fame, and I'm so glad to be here with you. And some of y'all may not know this, I'm writing a series article titled Beyond the Pulpit, which is dealing with retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here today to talk about the process that you went through.
Yeah.
So share a little about yourself before we get into the question.
Well, in terms of pastoring, I've been serving for 45 years.
Oh,
I served one church, Galilee Missionary Baptist Church on the west side, for 5 years. And we've been, this October, 35 years at Redeeming Grace.
Redeeming Grace.
Yes.
And how long you been at this location?
We've been here almost 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Almost 10 years. And we bought the property. It was 10 acres.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then basically we sat on it because I wanted to build something that I should not have wanted to build.
Mm-hmm.
And so my lender said, we won't build that, but we'll build anything else you want.
About that.
It was a dome.
Mm-hmm.
Dome. And so we kind of sat on it. I was mad for a while, and then finally figured out, okay, we're going to build this one.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was this oil company, this gas company came to me and said they wanted to buy 1 acre. And so we had purchased the land for $250,000. And then they decided that they wanted an acre. And so they paid us $750,000 for it.
Oh, you can't be mad at that.
And then so Dollar Tree came and said they wanted an acre, and we sold that acre for $300,000. And then we sold the other property on 78. And so I was wanting to sell the whole frontage and pay for everything. My people said no. They won't be able to see us. I said, well, we can put up a big sign. And so that was the key to that.
Okay.
Sure. Uh-huh.
So now we are here to talk about this thing called retirement.
Okay.
And in one of the articles I wrote, I talk about the sitting in that sacred tent. And when is it time to say, I'm going to hang up the spurs? So tell me about your process. How did you get to the spirit?
Basically, I had started thinking about retirement 25 plus years ago.
Okay.
And so what we did was I got the church and my association and convention had this retirement program called Guidestone.
And
And so we got involved with Guidestone and started putting in funds from the church. And so the association also added funds, well, the convention. And so it was the 25-year plan. And so I came up to the 25-year plan last year, okay? But I started thinking about retirement, real retirement, 10 years ago. And at that point in time, the Lord actually showed me who would be my successor. And I mentioned it to, we had a family reunion, mentioned it, and all of a sudden, when we got to this point, my son reminded me, Dad, you said Apostle Duhart 10 years ago. I said, you're right. And so with also getting ready, well, I'm a vet, veteran, and so with that and Social Security, I'm okay.
You raise another point, because I'm going to get there eventually, talking about financials.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get past, we hang up the spurs, so to speak. I've known some people, I'm pretty sure you've known some people who died in the pulpit.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons they died is financially, they could not step away, because that was where, their financial incomes.
Correct.
And so when you have these many streams of income coming in, does it make it a little easier for you to step away, or is that process of inefficient?
it made it a lot easier because I didn't want to go backwards. I struggled with even redeeming grace because, you know, sometimes people don't want you to prosper. And I had a situation where my board was saying, well, keep him broke and keep him humble. And so I am really grateful now that my latter days are so much better than my former days because of all of that type of ignorance and foolishness. But I think a pastor has to get ready. He has to start preparing at a young age in terms of his ministry. If he's not focused on that, then he will get to his 50s and 60s, and it's kind of late to start.
And I've known some pastors who was up out of Social Security. And then now they're looking at retirement, and all they have left is the church.
Yes.
And that's a area we need to sit and talk with. And first of all, I want to tell you, I've been looking forward to this conversation because I have hoped and it spark some conversation in the community with some of the things that I wrote in the article. One of those things that Pastor Claudette Copeland, we get to this later on, what our unfinished business stuff.
Wonderful woman.
Yes, yeah. So when you talk about the process of getting there, who are the people in your tribe that you sat with? And you mentioned your son and your board. What was that like?
It was actually easy for me because I didn't wait on their vision. I had my own. And if you don't have your own, then the process is a little more difficult. And so I started looking at the preparation. I started looking at paying off my house and got that accomplished. And getting my wife's bills paid. Oh my God.
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole different
story. We won't get in trouble with that.
Okay, all right, we'll keep that out. But those kinds of things and reducing my debt so that I could do it easily. I've got well, one of my daughters is deceased, and so I've got 3, and my wife has 2, and then I've got 3 sons. Well, out of that, we have 15 grand, and then 16 great. I don't spend money on them. Honey and I are about to retire. We're about to enjoy ourselves. And so that becomes their parents' responsibility. But I think that one of the most damaging things, and I think they need to even teach that in seminary, you need to make preparation. If God lets you live a long life, then prepare to retire. And then the other side of the fence, Bishop, is this. I knew that I was getting to the point that there were certain things I didn't want to do anymore. I don't want to be on, Facebook. I don't want, other than preaching or any of the other things. And so I said, in order for the church to keep on thriving, that has to happen. So I need a younger person that has the energy. When I had energy, God did great things to me. But the energy is gone, and then the desire is gone. In terms of
you're hitting it right. Well, one of the articles I wrote, that was one of the things to ask. Am I still enjoying doing what I'm doing? Right now, preaching is what I call the tip of the iceberg.
Yes,
there are some other things that take place in ministry.
Yes,
that can be where it can be where taxing and all of this. And so when I'm hearing you saying, I really appreciate what you just said, because in seminary they don't teach us about retirement. Exactly. And very rarely they really teach us about the administrative thing. You kind of fall into some of this.
Yes. And
this is the conversation of retirement. You said 10 years. Actually, you said 25.
Yes.
I'm thinking about retirement. It's only been, in my mind, let the Lord change it. I got 10 more years in the pulpit. And so I'm having a conversation now. I brought people in who I respect, and I might even put you in there since you. I want to hear their input. I got a plan. I do have a plan, but I want to hear the process.
Yes.
Retired from the military, that was easy. I knew my time was up. Uncle Sam said your time is up.
Absolutely.
But now in ministry, it's still, you're still calling. You still got a call. You still got a purpose, but you're not walking away from your purpose.
Right.
You're just flipping the script.
I think what really helped me was God told Moses that the Levites could only do the temple work for 50 years.
And
And then they could help after 50 years, but they couldn't do the physical labor.
Yeah.
And at that time, they were old. 50 years was an old man. Well, when I read that, it gave me comfort that I was not, going against God, that God had prepared me. But at the same time, it's okay to move on. Now, I have another 501c3 that I'm going to be working with to do some other things because me and Honey can't stay in the house every day. We need a little separation.
I got you.
And I'll be home for dinner.
Yeah.
But I've still got the energy. I can still preach. I don't want to do the necessary pastoral things that have to be done. And so our congregation is growing older with me, but at the same time we're getting some younger people, but we need a thrust on them because the gospel has not changed, but ministry has changed. And so you've got to have those young folks that are going to attract. And so and since the church is not going to follow me and go behind the hearse, I'm good.
You mentioned social media a few minutes ago.
Yes.
And I think, I don't have my problem to say I'm 65.
Mm-hmm.
And 2020 came. We had to do some new things. Now, we were already doing some of the things. It just was making that switch and transition.
Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of folks retired because they didn't want to do the Facebook and all this other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning one of the things because I work in the university, I'm around young people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting to the place now, how much more social media do we really need?
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to get the word out there, that's where they are.
That's right there.
And if you're not ready to go with that, maybe that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
To transition into that next phase.
Yes.
Maybe there's other things you need to do, and maybe that's not it. I appreciate that conversation because I give you a quick analogy.
Mm-hmm.
The wife and I were going to a conference in Cleveland, had a layover in St. Louis.
Okay.
And there was a group of women, I think they were going to another conference. One woman was taking all these selfies. At some point, I started counting. It was 29 selfies in 15 minutes. Wow. And I said to my wife, this don't make no sense. My wife said, maybe she's an influencer. She influencer herself, right? So we get on the plane, and guess who we say the next to? The selfie.
Okay.
And she's still taking the selfies. So I'm sharing that with my class that stuff don't make no sense to me. Mm-hmm. A young woman in the back of the class raised her hand. And she said, can I give you another perspective? I said, sure. You might have changed my mind, but I don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I take selfies because that's how people see me.
Mm-hmm.
So all my life I've been invisible.
Mm.
And it gave me another perspective. I still don't agree with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you got to be able to make those changes. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's harder for us after a while. You say,
yes,
let the younger one do this. Okay, I think at this time we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we want to come back and talk about life in ministry.
Okay.
All right.